Hey, 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 it's your girl, Listiner Inspires, coming at you live on Friday, giving you your Rebel Inspired moment of poetry reading, where I do a flashback reading of what? My award-winning book, Rebel Inspired, A Poetic Journey into Awesomeness. This is an award-winning book that is available on Amazon.com, as well as my website, ListinerInspires.com. And so, if you're not familiar with who I am and what I do, let me break it down for you. Hey, bars! So, I am an award-winning author. I am an inspirational speaker, as well as an accountability expert. And so, I create innovative content that inspires revolutionary individuals to expand and elevate their mindsets so they can live their greatest life. How do I do that? Through teaching, through workshop facilitating, through writing, through creating content that allows you to, like I said, expand and elevate your mindset. Because where does it all start? In your mind. So as you believe, so you are. So now that we know who I am, what this is for you is my poetry reading. So every Friday or every other Friday, I made a vow to read a poem from my award-winning book and to break down the meaning and the story behind the poem, so you can really get a perspective of where this journey was taking me through. And if you don't know by now, my poem book is A Poetic Journey into Awesomeness. And the reason why it's titled that way is because it actually tells a journey from being abused to my journey of being healed, and just the various stages of my life of how I felt in those moments of me being abused. And so it's very transparent. It's my truth, and I wanted to share it with the world 2 years ago on my birthday, to allow people to know that they're not alone, to also free myself of the shame and guilt that I felt with being abused, and to allow others to know that you too can start this journey of healing. It's never too late. So with saying that, the poem that I will be reading today is called Go Against What Goes Against. It's on page 38 of my award-winning book. Now, if you have not gotten this book yet, I advise you to get it. It's awesome. I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I did write it, but it is awesome. It really was something that came from a place of wanting to not only share my experience, but be able to help others who may be going through similar experiences. And so this poem really starts the beginning of the journey of how I realized that my life matters and my story needs to be told and my pain has a purpose. And this is the first poem that starts that journey of me realizing how great I was, and though that my life felt like it wasn't great, it was. So here we go. I want to see or hear some finger snappings, hand clapping. Well, I won't hear it, but hopefully you'll do it anyway. If you have any comments or questions, please drop it below. If it's something more personal and private and you don't want to share it on social media, inbox me, email me at rockyourrebel@gmail.com. I am very personable, I'm very transparent and authentic, and I try to make sure that I answer questions as best as can. I'm not a counselor, so I do not advise people of counseling advice, but I share from my experience. And so with that being said, and my experience in Jesus Christ, because I have to give him all the credit for where I'm at now and how far I've come, because without Jesus Christ, I would not be here before you today, able to tell my journey and continuously going on the journey of healing. So, without further ado, let's read from the poem. Go Against What Goes Against, on page 38. Go against what goes against. The life you breathe is labeled by disdain, distrust, and foreseen scenes, being played out repeatedly and repetitively on replay. Greatness is not so great when asked why you're late. You participate in living amongst the breathing and not yet slumming with the dead. So much easier to stick in your head in the sands of pits of sinking lies than to try to cover up with the open, deep, yet well cared for wounds of affection and rejection. As to not hurt the pride of those who can't handle the truth, you've been fed daily, like formula given to a baby you wish you were and would gladly convert back to being if it meant being born to a different human being. At last, it has happened. The greatness became too great to just be served on a plate and spoon-fed to a select few. It's time that everyone knew what it is needed to be known, that what's meant to be shared sometimes is birth in despair. So there's a few lines that really stick out for me that I want to really just dig a little bit deeper into. There's a part where I speak about participating in living amongst the breathing and not yet slumbering with the dead. So you might hear the phrase walk, the living dead, or walking around, you're alive, but you're just walking around like a zombie. And so that was my life. I was alive. I was breathing. I was going to work. I was, raising children, but I was not living. I was alive, but I was not living in the moment. And so I was breathing, because I had breath in my body, but I was basically, lifeless inside because of all the abuse that I experienced. I did not even know where to begin on how to live. I hadn't yet given up because I had children, but I knew that I wasn't living the life that I should live. I just didn't know how to go about it. And so it's so much easier to stick your head in the sandpits of sinking lies. So the lies I told myself was that, it's okay, I'll be fine. No one cares. The abuse wasn't that bad. Just those were the lies that I just told myself to believe that, it happens to everybody. So what? Who cares about what I went through? And I tried to cover that up with just smiling, caring for my children, but the wounds of rejection and false affection, those false affection came from countless of encounters with individuals who I knew didn't love me. I didn't love them, but I was just trying to cover up what I felt. And so I just dealt with things that I know were not good for me. The next line, which I really feel was really deep, was a baby you wish you were and would gladly convert back to if it meant being born to a different human being. And so that speaks volumes, because in that moment I acknowledged that I did not want to be born to my mother. I knew that she was my mother. She gave birth to me, but it was many a nights that I asked God, like, why would you allow me to be born to her? Like, why? I could have been rerouted to someone else, and not wanting to live. And if I was to live, so I just do it differently. I wanted to have a different mother. I wanted to experience what it felt like to be loved and to be appreciated and to be cherished. But in saying that, I am blessed now because I've had so many mother-like figures that have come into my life. I have family now that though I was not born to them, you cannot tell the difference. And so what was lost, God has replaced times 10, which is a blessing. And so it's just, I'm just grateful that I started to realize that though my life seemed like it was in shambles and in despair and was born in the spirit of rejection and hatred, God used all that for me to be able to constantly inspire, pour out from a place of what seemed like hurt, but now is a place of healing. And so some of the key words that I want you to remember in this poem, though they're not actually written, but that was the spirit behind it, were our perseverance, strength, determination, and purpose. Perseverance is being able to press forward, press through, in spite of what's going on around you. And that's one thing I can tell you that I do have, and not bigging myself up, but I've mastered the art of perseverance, meaning that no matter what was going on around me, I pressed my way through. I put on a fake smile, which wasn't healthy, but I pressed my way through because I had other lives depending on me. I had my children who were younger at the time. Strength. First and foremost, being a woman requires strength, but being a woman who is broken inside but still trying to raise a family requires a whole new level of strength, because you're not coming from a place of like wholeness, you're coming from brokenness. You're really just like you're strong because you have to be, but yet you're broken inside because you haven't dealt with stuff. So that strength I had was really because of my children. I give them a lot of credit, because if they had not been born, I probably would have taken my life a long time ago, and that's just being honest. But thank God that they were there, and God saw fit to have them be birthed through me as a gift into the world. And so I'm grateful to that. And that leads me into determination. I was determined to not be a mother to my children that I received as a child from my mother. Like, I was determined to not do what was done to them, what was done to me. And so that in turn gives me the purpose to want to move forward, to be able to go forth and share and inspire to millions that your life matters. No matter what was done to you, what happened to you, what you may have done, your life still matters. God still has you breathing and alive for a purpose. And so this poem pretty much just talks about purpose, that out of my pain has come a greater purpose of inspiring millions, of motivating millions to do things that they've never thought they could do, and that's live their greatest life. I mean, what better purpose is there than that? And so I found purpose in living my truth and being unashamed and being authentic. I found purpose in facing my demons, of being molested and raped and abused, and knowing that through those things I had to deal with a lot of I won't say abnormal behavior, but a lot of unhealthy behavior that was a side effect of that, and finding purpose in my pain. So this poem talks about purpose on like so many different levels, and I've come to the realization that though my life has been rocky, it is my life nonetheless, and it is mine for the living. And so from this day forward, I have decided, not even this day forward, from the day that I decided to tell my truth in this book and get it published, was the day that I told God, like, officially, like, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to do what you asked me to do. I'm going to do it in excellency, and I'm going to do it in greatness, knowing that I was created for a purpose. I was not a mistake, and everything that I have experienced and has come to pass has a meaning in it. And so in closing, I have a few questions that I want you to start to ask yourself. One is, what's stopping you from starting your healing journey? What's stopping you? The journey can start in the moment you decide to say, I need to heal. That's when your journey starts. When you acknowledge that you need to heal. When you acknowledge that the things that were done to you, you need to heal from. That's when your journey starts. So what's stopping you from starting your healing journey? 2, why are you waiting for the right moment? There is no right moment. The time is now. There's no right moment. Once you woke up this morning, you were able to breathe. That's your moment. Seize that moment, this day that God has given you to start living your greatest life. 3, are you willing to tell your truth authentically if it meant helping others? A lot of times people water down. A lot of times stories and testimonies can be watered down. And it's because sometimes the truth can be harsh. The reality of what someone goes through may be a hard pill to swallow. But I personally believe that the right person can swallow that pill of your truth, because that's who you're called to. So are you willing to tell your truth authentically? Don't water it down. Don't dumb it down. If it's your truth, put it out there. God will bless you for being able to tell your truth authentically to help those who you're called to. 4, do you know there's pain that your pain has a purpose? Do you know your pain has a purpose? Pain is an indicator of something greater. Like if you're hurting, for instance, usually it means that there's something going on in your body if you're hurting. So what do? You go to the doctor, see what's going on, and you get it looked at. Pain means if you're still feeling pain, that means you're still alive. That means that God can still work with you. You know, and that also means that once you address that pain, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or mental, once you address that it's real and you tell God, this is how I feel, He's able to allow you to start to heal from all the things you've experienced. But your pain does have a purpose. You know, there's nothing on this earth that is not tied to a purpose of something greater. And once you understand that, you can start to live your life on purpose, knowing that no matter what has happened to you, there's a purpose for it. So I hope that this was helpful. If you want more insight, if you want to connect, inbox me on all my social medias. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you want to just email me, You can email me at rockyourrebel@gmail.com. And I hope to be able to connect with anyone who wants to be connected to. Don't forget to get this award-winning book on Amazon.com or my website, ListinerInspires.com. Blessing and have a great weekend.